Good evening, it's 7:40 p.m. at the capital city Ulaanbaatar. This is Today, and I'm your host, Bilgute Tumundimbril. Mongolian Social Entrepreneurs Summit 2017 was held on 24th of May. Therefore, for today's interview, I've invited moderators of Social Entrepreneurs Summit. Global Social Entrepreneurship Network Advisor, Mr. Ptashko, and Mr. Ahmed Al-aagam, founder of Youth Social Enterprise and Voluntary Action Sheffield. Good evening. Thank you for receiving our invitation.
Thank you for having us.
A pleasure.
Yes. So let's start our conversation with explaining who is social entrepreneur. Because I used to hear just entrepreneur word, and now it's become social entrepreneur. What's the social entrepreneurship and social entrepreneur?
From my perspective, this is about making a change in society. So fundamentally, these people go into their communities, they grab the resources, the people they need, and they make a positive social change. It's about changing the world around them for the better.
So they apply business techniques to solve social problems. And that's the basic fundamental of what a social entrepreneur does. They operate and think like a business, but their goal is not the profit. Their goal is to make a change in their community, in their society, in their country.
But at the same time, you have to be making profit.
Correct.
Right.
And the profit is there used for bettering the community that they're in, to develop their social venture and grow their venture. So yes, they operate like a business, but it's what they do with their profit that makes a difference.
Right. So its focus shifted to the society more, not to the profit.
That's right.
Right. So lately, the social entrepreneurship has been rising.
Yes.
What's the cause? Where is the need? Why?
For me, I link it back to sort of global events. We see there are more and more people with less and less resources. And so it's so important that we have the opportunity to empower those that can't always help themselves. Social entrepreneurs are the change agents that enable that to happen. So in a world where the consumer is king, let's put a bit more power back in their hands.
Right.
And it is really the response that has that people's response to the global events that Peter mentioned. So it's how people decided to take matters to their own hands and contribute positively and bring back hope and bring back community spirit and collective responsibility, whether it's for the environment, whether it's for their natural resources, or whether and that's really the important thing, is that people are the drivers behind it, but also they are the drivers of it. They're doing it. So that's important as well.
So these are all connected back to the sustainable development, right? And how can social entrepreneurship help develop economy and
It's about grassroots innovation. So it's about people creating new business ideas that are also doing good and spreading those ideas. You don't get change from the top. It comes from the bottom. If you wait for governments, politicians to make the change, you'll be waiting a long time.
Right.
And it's an area of business that's complementary. Business is known for being very quick. That's right. It's the way you do business. You have to be quick at taking opportunities. So entrepreneurs in general are people who spot an opportunity and use it and advance it to their goals and profitable. Social entrepreneurs are exactly the same. They are people who see an opportunity and act. But the difference between them and institutions is the speed. They have more chances of acting because they're not really burdened by the institutionalized, whether it's organizations, whether it's international organizations, or whether it's government. It doesn't matter, because they are really entrepreneurs at the core, and they looked at an opportunity and made quick response. And that's really one of the other characteristics of entrepreneurs, is that they're very quick.
Very quick, and that speed is helpful to, especially now in Mongolia, economy is in downturn. So it's helpful because of the speed, right?
Entrepreneurs are more likely to be, in general, the people who will try, and it's okay. Failure within an entrepreneurship context is okay. They're not as risk averse as institutions are. They're more likely to take risks. Social entrepreneurs are known to be really high risk takers because some of the challenges they face are probably too big that other institutions, when they do their calculations of risk, decide to walk away from it because it's too big. Whereas an entrepreneur are risk takers by character, by people, but context,
courage.
and they do it, yes. And they're very courageous people.
So in Mongolia, in general public, when you mention starting new business, the finance is always the problem. Starting, you have to have some finance, right? What are the ways to get finance on new ideas?
It's a very good question, and that's really why we're here this week. So we're working with Development Solutions, Youth Business Mongolia, and helping them to create a new program for startup social entrepreneurs. So we're putting money in the hands of new and often young social entrepreneurs. So we're looking ahead to the next generation of Mongolians too.
Yeah. The summit that we had this week proved that there is a great appetite. People do really want to be part of this movement. And the summits and the people we've met at the summit, we've had conversations with, have really confirmed to us that the demand is there. Now it's about what can we do collectively as
support them.
as Development Solutions in Mongolia, or as the YBM team, which is the youth business, the global network. What can we do at the Global Social Entrepreneurs Network in the UK? What can we provide? What knowledge can we transfer to them? What can they do from the Youth Business International Network? So the opportunity is there, and our local
you
partners
guys actually finance project?
Yes, but what we often do is we put the money in the hands of the local organisations that know how better to spend it.
Not the big guys.
No,
the small.
Yeah, and also we come from the UK, but we work internationally, but we don't come from the UK and think we know everything. We put the resources in the hands of the people that do.
And it's important for us. That's why Peter and I spent this time in Mongolia. The immersion week that we're here for, and with being here, is also understanding the context of how our partners operate, to also tailor the support. We spent some time on their action plans and what exactly the next 18 months look like. So we over the 5 days that we had the training, and obviously at the summit as well, we were able to identify some of the key actions that they need to do. And we have some concrete plans, and our partners here in Mongolia are now taking that plan, and the summit was a great launch for that activity. And they have planned from now until December to attract, to actually open up the ecosystem of support and to reach out to more people. So that's the plan for this side of the year. And then next year they have an exciting program of support for social entrepreneurs. And I think I would invite everybody that's watching this program to really get in touch with Development Solutions here in Mongolia to get involved in the program, and they're very open to partnerships, both locally or international organizations, and the summit was a great opportunity where we met so many of the local representatives from these organizations.
I have to ask about the Gsn, because since we mentioned about it, what does Gsn do?
So Gsn,
the main in general.
No, sure. So Gsn is the global social entrepreneurship network.
Yeah, right.
It operates in 50 different countries around the world.
50.
50. We have over 50 members now, currently 2. And it's about accessing the finance, accessing the support for countries and organisations that really need it. So we're not doing lots of work in the UK. We're not doing lots of work in the US, where there's so much support available already. It's a global approach, particularly Southern Hemisphere. It's about getting the support where it's required, helping people to start up businesses, helping organisations that help startups like Development Solutions to do that even better. It's capacity development at its best.
Right.
One of our aims as well is to connect Development Solutions and Youth Business Mongolia to our network of partners, both in the region, but there will be partners in Africa that they might be able to learn and share, and share some of the learnings here and some of the difficulties they're facing, and teach some of the other partners about the solutions here. So it's a two-way. So I think there's a great opportunity for Youth Business Mongolia to learn, but also to share and take some of the great experiences that they have. I've seen some really good examples of the work, over the past few days of the work they've been doing. So I think there is something for them to be proud of as well, is that and the learning. So it's a two-way, I think.
Yes. So as professionals in entrepreneurship and in this field, how do you guys see Mongolia's entrepreneurship environment? Because you've been here for a while now.
We've been here for a while. I'll be really honest, it's quite nascent, it's quite early stage, but there's so much potential. Such great young people. You feel like there's a sort of changing of the guard, as we might say. Mongolia is opening up to the world. There's so many changes that are going on that are really exciting. It's an exciting time to be a Mongolian, to live here right now. There's new opportunities. What I would say is reach out and take them. Don't wait until tomorrow, do it today.
What would be your, in your opinion, what would be our biggest challenge to develop the entrepreneurship world for the youth?
I would say it's a mindset. It's a shift. Mindset. It's the difficulties sometimes, the barriers, some of it is just perceived. As we said, entrepreneurs are risk takers. They're courageous people, but they need support. They don't need to be told by so many people why it wouldn't work. People should not be quick to give them the reasons why it will fail. Why don't you try to support them? If you see someone taking a challenge and trying to make the change, support them. Already they have other, the odds is against them. Survival rates in social entrepreneurship is 2 to 3 years. So, do help them. They need to survive. A lot of, we have international data that shows that without the support from the local environment, and that's, when I say local, I'm talking parents, I'm talking families, I'm talking, friends, I'm talking, that's also important. It's not just the banks, it's not just their financial systems, it's also the community.
The environment.
Yes, and the ecosystem is the key word here. Everybody has a part to play. And they all need to be supportive. So I think it's the mindset. For me, my observation is the mindset of what social entrepreneurs require. The ask is very simple. Be supportive.
The change in here.
Correct.
That's right.
How about you? in more grounded way, like in the institutions, or what would be the challenge? Because when we start new businesses, our market is very small. So what would be your advice on that?
For me, it's openness. So it's similar to the mindset, but being open to new ideas, being open to organisations like Gsn who are willing to come in and help, but not dictate. It's the partnership. It's two-way. Two-way partnership. But we want to meet real people. And when I say real people, I mean the entrepreneurs doing the work on the ground, people that have got their hands dirty in making this change happen. It's not about meeting executives in big towers.
Right. So you guys worked with Youth Business Mongolia.
Yes.
And tell us about this organization.
It's a division from Development Solutions Mongolia. So it's part of their youth offer. So they support social entrepreneurs aged 16 to 35 and entrepreneurs
16 to 35.
Correct. They give a package of support and access to finance. They have training programs. They have a mentoring program, a really well-respected mentoring program, I must add, where they connect potential entrepreneurs with executives, with middle managers in corporations to really share the skills. So I think that's a really important thing. So we talked about their access to finance.
So they work as a middleman?
For access to finance, yes. So they're enablers. They will bridge the gap between the entrepreneur. They help them with their propositions. They help them with the business planning. And they bridge the gap between them and the financial institutions. So that's one area of their work. The other area is the support. So they do the training, they do the consultancy.
Just like the summit,
Correct. So, and that's really why we feel the value match between what we do in the UK and what we do as part of the global network with the offer from Youth Business Mongolia, because that's what we think is important. As much as money is important in our support model, actually the wraparound service, everything else as well. So the mentoring, the one-to-one coaching, the business planning, the marketing support, all of that is really as important, if not more than the money. Because there are access to money is one element, whereas the wraparound service is really important. And I think, again, the work they've been doing for the last, since 2013 in Mongolia is credit to them. The numbers have been really good.
Right.
The support and also the reach. They work outside of Ulaanbaatar, so they have regional offices
Right,
in the
really?
provinces, correct? Yeah, and they have other projects they've been working on. So I think again, it's another invitation to really connect with them, build some of the on what they've done, and yeah, they're a great team to work with. That's at least mine and Peter's observation is they're very open to meet others. And at the summit, there was another proof that the attendance and the types of people that came to the summit was also credit to them and to their reputation, from ambassadors to international NGOs to local government. Having all of these supporters gives another credit to their program.
Right, very good network established actually. So let's talk about Mongolia and your experience. We've been talking a lot about the entrepreneurship. How do you like Mongolia so far?
Well, it's funny, we arrived and I think we expected it to be extremely cold. You know, we looked at the weather and you know, half my family comes from Ukraine. And so I'm familiar with cold. I wasn't sure I was ready for minus 30 degrees Celsius, but we arrived and actually it's been really nice.
Yeah. Pleasantly surprised is what comes to mind.
And look, we're British people, so we talk about the weather a lot.
Yes,
so it's very
weather a lot.
Trust me.
I think it rained one day, which felt very, closer to home. I thought, oh, okay, maybe we brought the weather with us.
Yeah. It's London again.
But I think also what I've seen is the people. An important part for me when I travel, and Peter's and I have done a lot of traveling, is we make people, the local hosts. I mean, I'm talking from the people who spoke English and the people who didn't speak English. Everybody I've met so far have been really kind, courteous, and have showed willingness to support and help. And even when they didn't speak the language. And that was amazing for me. I don't know how I've communicated with some people, but we've got through it. So I think for me that was another pleasant surprise, is the people. And I'm looking forward to maybe coming back to Mongolia. And maybe bring my family too. So that would be really interesting to bring.
Have them go around the countryside.
That would be lovely.
There's lots of beautiful landscapes.
Yes, I think that's what we need to do more of. So next trip maybe a bit longer.
A bit longer, yeah, please do. Well, thank you for very interesting takes. Unfortunately, we have limited time. We could talk on and on and on about this topic. And thank you.
No, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you coming here to share your vast experience to our audience and to the Mongolian youth. We need it. Right?
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
So that's all for today. Thank you for being with us. You're watching MM Today. We will see you on next Tuesday with more news.